Two students, a night, one irreversible decision. What unfolded in Kuching still haunts everyone connected to it. This is the crime case, the murder case of Aidan Berger and Neil Dalton, two 22-year-old medical students that never made it back to their home country. Hey, you guys, and welcome to the GMC channel where I bring you the ghost, the mystery, the crime. I am Esther Vincent, also known as Leah Mia on social media. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys stick around till the end. If you do, please do leave me a thumbs up, a like, comment, share it with others. If you have not done so, please go ahead and subscribe. That will help the channel grow further, encourage me to make more. And without further ado, let's get into today's crime story. Aidan Berger and Neil Dalton were fourth-year medical student in Newcastle University in the UK. Both of them were just 22 years old, eager to learn, and committed on helping others. They had traveled to Kuching, Sarawak, Malaysia, the Borneo side of Malaysia, on a 6-week medical internship at the Sarawak General Hospital. A chance for them to apply their studies in a new culture and make a difference in patients' lives. Their friends described them as warm, fun, clever, and full of potential. Aidan was from Kent and he was close to his family. Neil was from Derbyshire and he was known for his easy smile and his love for sports. They were both in Borneo with 5 other medical students. They were excited, living the adventure, and they were celebrating some of their final days in Malaysia. It was in the early morning of 6th of August 2014 in the Jalan Pandungan area of Kuching. The sun had long set, but the streets were still alive with late-night revelers and backpackers. That night, Aidan and Neil, along with a few other British students, had been going to the local bars and having some drinks, enjoying each other's company. They had been laughing and joking, enjoying their final moments of free time before they had to go back to Britain. So inside the bar, the music was loud, people were talking, was noisy, and the atmosphere was busy, as it would be inside a bar. As Aidan, Neil, and their friends were celebrating the end of their placement, they were laughing and talking, perhaps a little too loud. At some point, a group of local men approached them and told them to keep their voices down, like, "Yo, slow down." And one of the men was a 23-year-old fishmonger named Zulkifli Abdullah. Zulkifli. Soon, heated words were exchanged between the team and frustration began to build. What started off as a night of celebration slowly turned into something really unhappy and tense. Reportedly, the argument started over noise, but witnesses claim neither team escalated to violence inside the bar itself. It was just words, There was no brawl, there was no chairs flying, there was no fist fight. Nothing, just ugly words thrown to each other under that smoky, dimly lit venue. Eventually, Aidan and Neil decided they had had enough fun for the night and they decided that they are going to leave. So they left the bar and they started walking back to their backpacker lodge just about 2 kilometers away with a few other students. It must have felt normal, like after a great night out with friends, right? But outside, on that quiet pavement, just past Jalan Abel, there were eyes watching them. The same group of men who had had issues with them back in the bar. According to the prosecutors later, Zulkifli, the fishmonger guy, he had boasted to his friends earlier that he wants to test his strength on much bigger, taller foreign visitor, a dangerous mindset fueled by pride, aggression, and alcohol. What a loser. As Aidan and Neil were walking back, Zulkifli and his gang of boys, his friends, they started following them first by foot and then by cars. Moments later, Zulkifli caught up to Aidan near a bus stop and in a terrifying instant would plunge a knife into Aidan's chest. One single stab wound proven enough to end his young life. almost immediately. Neil, now seeing his friend Aiden fall, tries to flee, but just 50 meters away, he would be caught and stabbed multiple times. Four serious stab wounds in his back and his chest that would prove to be fatal as well. Both boys laid dead on the pavement just meters apart from each other in the quiet early morning darkness. Can you believe that? This could have been prevented. Like, this is not even needed for. All this over word fight? Like, I cannot accept this. Two poor souls, two young boys who had so much ahead of them died just like that. Witnesses outside a cafe where the students had been earlier found the body and would call the police. They reported to the police of hearing screams and sounds of struggles, and then complete silence. Nobody intervened in time. Emergency responders arrived shortly after about 4:15 a.m. The scene was gruesome. Blood pool on the road, silence in the air, and the brilliant futures of two young doctors extinguished just like that. Words of the murders rippled back to Newcastle and the rest of the UK the next morning. Friends and families were notified. Shock and disbelief turned into grief. Neil's parents, Phil and Jan, and his brother Glenn were devastated. Aiden's parents, Paul and Sue, were left reeling with pain and unanswered questions. Some family members flew to Malaysia immediately with heavy hearts and shattered nerves. Can you imagine, like, how would you bring back your son in such a situation? Someone who was alive yesterday and today is no more, and you got to bring them back in a casket to your home country, to your home. It's horrible. At their funerals, back at their homes, their entire families, friends, classmates, and the whole community mourned. Hundreds gathered to remember Neil, a caring and a thoughtful young man who could light up a room. Aiden's family remembered him as a wonderful boy whose death left a massive holes in their lives. Now back in Malaysia, the Malaysian police, they acted quickly. Within a day of the murders, the Royal Malaysian Police were able to arrest five suspects in Kuching, including the main suspect, Zulkifli, along with other local men aged from 19 to 35. Police reports reveal that the suspects have consumed alcohol and, in some cases, drugs, methamphetamine before the attack. And guess what? Four of them confessed. Like, out of the five, four of them confessed to having some sort of connection to the killing. Prosecutors choose to only charge Zulkifli Abdullah with both the murders. The others were released in bail but later became prosecution's witnesses. Three of them testified that they saw the fatal stabbing happening in front of their eyes, and one of them helped in disposing the evidence. In court, Zulkifli Abdullah, the fishmonger guy, he denied ever using a knife. He claimed that he only punched one of the students during the fight, a claim that the court rejected. The prosecution presented witness testimonies, physical evidence, and medical reports showing Aiden died from a single chest wound and Neil from multiple stab wounds. They argued that the attack was unprovoked, deliberate, motivated only by aggression and bravado, not self-defense. The audacity Zulkifli had to say that this was self-defense. Like, boy, what are you thinking? In a shocking statement, a friend of Zulkifli would testify saying that Zulkifli, after the murder, said the blood of white people smelled good. A chilling statement the prosecutors used to highlight the brutality of this crime. This dude, he just want to show he's a badass, he's a big deal, he's a macho man. Like, this really frustrates me because two innocent lives died here for no apparent reason, just because this dude wanted to show that he's a big deal. Like on 31st of March 2015, after months of hearing testimonies and evidence, the Kuching High Court found Zulkifli Abdullah guilty of both murders and sentenced him to death by hanging, Malaysia's mandatory penalty for murder back at that time. He did appeal, but all of his appeals were dismissed. And as of 2024, he is still on death row. Not dead yet, but under death row. Okay, now who is this Zulkifli guy? Court records show that he is just a 23-year-old. 23-year-old, how young? 23-year-old fishmonger from Kampong Gresik. He was the only son for his parents. Before this crime, he had a conviction for robbery and was familiar with the law enforcement, but nothing as serious, nothing as severe as murder. Prosecutors said that Zulkifli wanted to prove to himself. The urge to test his strength mixed with alcohol and possible drug use caused the situation to spiral out of control. What should have ended as a petty argument turned into something so violent and irreversible. That's why you guys don't do drugs. Don't take alcohol beyond the limit. If possible, stay away from both because we can see again and again in so many situations, nothing good comes out of it. All three of them, Zulkifli, Aiden, Neil. Aiden and Neil never got to live. They died. Zulkifli on death row. No life, nothing. But he get to live though. It is unfair, but still, Aiden and Neil, they didn't deserve this. They were doctors in training, trained to bring life, trained to save life. They were not fighters. Their deaths serve as a sobering reminder that in a fraction of a moment, a life can be taken, future erased, and families forever altered. They came to Borneo to help and learn, but became the victims of a man's reckless violence. Their legacy, however, lives on in the memories of their families, friends, and a community far away from their home. If you found this story moving, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, a like, share it with others, leave your comments, and if you have not done so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, help the channel grow further, and encourage me to make even more. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Stay safe out there, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you have time to spare, click on my next videos that will be popping up here, and take care out there. Bye.